Hey there everybody, how's it going? It's Jessie from Jessie Marie Does Stuff here on FlossTube, and I am coming to you on this Sunday, September 1st, 2019 with FlossTube collaboration favorite fabrics. How cool is this? So, before I start talking about my favorite fabrics, let's talk about the FlossTube collaboration. This is sort of the brainchild of Cheryl. She is also Tranquil Stitches here on FlossTube, and she sort of created this roundtable kind of discussion where we are pitched a topic each month. And so a group of FlossTubers get together and we talk about it. And the cool thing about this is that the way that Cheryl has organized it, each of us is going to talk about something a little bit different. So, some great enabling happening here today. Get your credit cards ready because I would really highly suggest that you look in the description box below this video. I have every of the other collaborators listed down below. And there are a total of 11 of us this go around. So click through, do some channel hopping, and check out what people are having to say about their favorite fabrics. And the cool thing about these collaboration videos is they're not very long, so you could totally get a wide range of different companies and different interest levels in a rather short period of time. So definitely check everybody else out, and thank you, Cheryl, for inviting me to participate in this collaboration. Such a cool idea. So, favorite fabrics. I have said it before, I will say it again, I'm a linen girl. I wish that I could be somebody who liked to stitch on everything, but the fact of the matter is that my happy box, is a linen. And I have worked with a bunch of different dyers and bases and sources and whatnot over the years. And I have found my favorite. So my happy place is linen, and I have found a favorite within that happy place, and that is Lakeside linens. Now, before I get started, I just want to preface by saying that I don't have a ton of experience with Lakeside. I've only been using their products for about a year now, and they've been around for quite some time. So I know that a lot of you are going to have more knowledge base than I do. But that's okay. This is really just kind of a love letter to Lakeside Linens. What else? A lot of the information that I have for you today, I pulled from their website. And so along with the other collaborators in the description box, you will find a link to the Lakeside Linens website where you can see all of the colors that they offer, as well as sort of a much better description of their business practice and their mission, and just more information about them. Just check out their website if you're interested. So, Lakeside Linens. How on earth did I land here? Y'all know, if you've been with me for any length of time, I have a several years worth of Fabric of the Month just sort of collected over the years. And I certainly don't use it as fast as I have in the past received it. When last summer I went to start Forever and Ever by Cottage Garden Samplings, and that design is it calls for a gray linen of a different brand, and I wanted to do something different. I wanted a different brand than that, but I still kind of wanted to stay in the gray family. I like the way that the colors charted played off the gray, and I'm just a fan of gray. So I hit 1, 2, 3 stitch because that's kind of what I do if I've got a project in mind and I have a loose general direction of what color I'm after. So I go to 1, 2, 3 stitch. I knew off the bat that I wanted something mottled, but not wildly mottled. I wanted something a little bit more subtle. I also knew that I didn't want a plain fabric, so I wanted some sort of color depth without being too plain. So I stumbled upon Lakeside Linens, and before this point I had never experienced their linens prior to that, and I found I think that I had a misconception now. I know it to be a misconception. An idea that Lakeside was difficult to work with. And there are some linens that I just don't get along with. And so I was hesitant. But I wanted to try it anyway because I loved this color. And let's just call it like it is. I fell in love. I fell in love last July because I ordered Vintage Winter Sky from Lakeside Linens, and this is the result. So I did just recently finish this project, and I almost took it to the framer, but I thought, ooh, I better hold on to that so that I can show you guys a project that has played out on the fabric. So let me see. If I put it right here, you're getting the best idea of the color. It's a very blue-gray, but it is very subtly mottled. I don't even know if modeling is really the right word. It's just some tonal variation all over the fabric. It's not harsh. There's not high contrast, but you can see that it's not plain. So I called this Vintage Winter Sky. Vintage is sort of Lakeside Linen's way of saying that this is more distressed than its companion. So you can get Winter Sky, which is definitely more solid, or the vintage. And that is the case for the majority of their colors. The majority of their colors will come in a vintage and a standard, if you will. So if you're shopping for Lakeside Linens and you see that vintage, it's going to mean that it's going to be a little bit more distressed is the term that they use. So that is this was my first experience with Lakeside Linens, and I was hooked since that point. Absolutely hooked. So when I was shopping in a D-stash, I noticed that, where'd you go? There you are. I've got fabric kind of everywhere. When I was shopping in a D-stash, I noticed that they had this piece of Lakeside Linens available, and I thought, okay, well, since I so enjoy working on the Vintage Winter Sky, let's get another color. This is Vintage Cedar Plank, and it's kind of like a greeny gray, very nice neutral. It is a vintage again. You can see I've started something on there, but it's just a nice neutral with some brown shading in it. Specifically this corner here, you can see some of that coloring. It's beautiful, absolutely beautiful. And so at the onset of this year, I canceled my past Fabric of the Month subscriptions because I wanted to develop more of a neutral stash. And so at the beginning of the year, I was going to do my own sort of Fabric of the Month, wherein which I bought a fat quarter of Lakeside Linens each month just to sort of build that stash. Well, that ended in January, but nonetheless. So here's one of the pieces that I picked up, and this is Vintage Maple Sugar. And again, a neutral base color with some darker shading through it. It's almost purpley, maybe kind of mauvey. It's very subtle, which I love. I love the fact that it's a subtle base. So there is that. Now I have a piece of 40 count on the way because all of these are 32 count Belfast. And so last week I ordered a piece of 40 count just to show you guys some more variety of what they have to offer. Unfortunately, that package has decided to take a detour and has found itself in Manhattan. So I'm hoping that it gets redirected and comes back down south, but we'll see. Yeah, that was kind of a bummer. I was watching the tracking and it was going that way, and I went, But anyway, so Lakeside Linens, their product is beautiful, and they are not difficult to work with. I haven't found that to be the case at all. They use a Zweigart base, so it's a quality base that is not so harsh, but also not so soft and loose that it kind of falls apart. I use a pretty serious frame. It stretches things and it doesn't distort tremendously, but it is not so rough as some of the bases are. It's not crunchy. It's not cardboard. It's a really, really nice fabric. And so I went to the Lakeside Linens website just to learn a little bit more. And the first thing that you find when you go to their website is kind of their mission statement, or the basis for why they started dyeing. And essentially, they like stitching and chocolate, and they weren't willing to give up one for the other. And I'm sorry, but if you put chocolate in your mission statement, I am so here for it. So I was immediately intrigued. But they weren't willing to give up one for the other. And so they wanted to be sure that they had a fabric that they could stitch on and continue to eat chocolate. And if something happens that chocolatey fingers touch said fabric, that it can be washed. So immediately my interest is piqued, because hand-dyed fabric that can be washed, I was a little skeptical. I mean, just putting it out there, I was skeptical. Anybody that promises color fastness, I know the nature of dyes. I understand that they bleed. So I decided to test this theory out. And fortunately, with Forever and Ever, I didn't use but like maybe 2/3 of that fabric, if that. So I had a good chunk that I could cut off and wash and iron and test that theory. So that's what I did. I cut this piece. I washed it in my normal bath. So if I'm washing a piece that's usually on a plain Zweigart linen with just DMC threads, what I do is I get a shallow basin, I fill it with water and a very small amount of Dawn, and I dilute that several times so that there is some detergent in there, but it's heavily diluted. I don't want to force any dye to release from either the fiber of the fabric or the threads. And I did that exact same thing with this. The water was about a little lukewarm, I would say, a little bit more than room temperature. And so I zhuzhed this in that bath. I was squeezing it and bunching it up while in the water. I let it sit there for 5 minutes. I came back, I messed with it some more, and then rinsed it in running water from my tap, and then ironed it. So y'all, I'm here to tell you that not a whisper of the dye bled from this fabric. Not even a little bit. After all that, nothing left this fabric. I am shocked and amazed. I understand that that's what their website promised, but like I said, I was skeptical. So, y'all can wash this. So let me pull up the finished piece so that y'all can see that there is no loss of that color at all. And let's face it, your deeper colors, blues, purples, reds, are so inclined to bleed. Nothing. No loss of color whatsoever. No loss of the subtle modeling. Nothing. I'm amazed. I am shocked and amazed. Now, I did try this, and so I can attest to the fact that this piece of fabric right here did not bleed. I will not be the person to say that that is the case for all of them. For starters, Lakeside does also have what they call double dip colors, because the colors are so rich and deep that it requires more time in dye. And so who knows, maybe those are more inclined to bleed. Maybe other dye lots of this color, maybe those do bleed. But I can tell you that this piece, at the very least, did not. And I'm just thrilled with that. So my forever and ever is going to get a bath and an iron upside down before it goes to the framer, and I'm so thrilled. So I have loved the colors that they offer, the subtle neutral shades. I love the base that they use. I like that the stitches lay fairly neatly all on their own without me having to railroad all that much. I haven't run into that. And now let's add on the fact that I could wash this. Like, what more do I need? So let's talk about places where you can purchase Lakeside. I have successfully purchased from 123 Stitch, and that's about my experience as far as buying it is concerned. And one thing that I will say here is that this is not a cheap linen. This is not going to be your cheap option. High quality means that you're going to spend some money, but it's not exorbitant as compared to other dyers who use a Zweigart base. It's not extraordinary. It's just not cheap. So just to let you know. I have heard tell of people buying from Sassy Jack Stitchery and Traditional Stitches. And so I have done some research and found some shops where Lakeside linen is listed, so you can find a list in the description box below if you are in the market. You're going to find colors that aren't super bright. They aren't loud colors. They aren't high contrast, but they are beautiful neutrals. And I cannot recommend them enough. So yeah, I think that that's really all that I have to say. Let me know how I did. Yeah, this is a really cool concept, Cheryl, and I appreciate you for inviting me to tag along. As I said a few times, y'all check out the other channels, see what they have to say about their favorite fabrics, get enabled, and try some things, and get you some Lakeside linens if that's your interest level. Okay, everybody, I think that's it. So I am going to head off here. As always, y'all, happy stitching, be kind, see you next time.